And we're live. Welcome everyone to State of the Republic Town Hall, Sac Republic versus Colorado Springs Switchbacks edition. We're really excited to be back here with a Town Hall. I think it's been a couple of weeks since we've had one, and really looking forward to talking about tomorrow's match. But as always, before we get started, let's go ahead and play our intro video, and we will be back here in about a minute and a half or so. Okay, and we're back. Thank you so much to everyone who is tuning in, or as always, who may be tuning in after the fact. We have a couple different special guests, co-hosts here tonight. And so without further ado, let's go ahead and get them introduced here. I'm going to go here, guys, in a screen order from what I have here on my studio side. First, let's go over to Sacramento with William Lamb. How's it going, man? Welcome.
Hey guys, welcome aboard. And even though this is a tower from Let's Freaking Go Sacramento. And yes, today Sacramento is a pretty crazy hot weather right now. And I am so delightfully happy to be cozy up inside my home, in my room. So I'm so delighted to be welcome here.
Yeah, it's a good day to be indoors with how hot it is outside. Everyone knows it, right? And up everywhere in the valley, it's 100 plus, and most of the week actually too. But we probably shouldn't be complaining as much because it is hotter somewhere else. And the next person I'm about to introduce here knows it very well. Let's go ahead and go over to Arizona. Jared, how's it going, man? How hot is it over there right now?
It's kind of chilly over here. I mean, just maybe 100. That's about it. So, I mean, it hasn't really been too bad the past couple of days. I mean, mornings out here in Avondale have been quite muggy. So, I guess it's a good way of training me for Orlando in a couple of weeks. But no, I mean, other than that, it's pretty good weather. Pretty decent. Just waiting for this match to happen. Both tomorrow's match and Las Vegas in a couple days.
Oh yeah, ooh, you're gonna be following the team quite a bit, Jared, and it's really great because, like I always say, no matter where Sac Republic goes, there's always a Sac Republic fan there, and I can't think of an away match where we haven't heard, whether it's someone we actually know or someone putting it out there on social media that actually goes, and it's great, right? It just goes to show how big the team is in the league.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, we didn't think it would be this big back in 2014, but here we are.
Yeah, and it's growing by the year. Now that we're in the Cup final, it's growing even more. I mean, I'm sure we've gained a lot of fans here over the last 2 months with all that's been going on. Well, speaking of the Las Vegas game, there is someone who's going to be going there with Jared. And let's go ahead and introduce him as well. Some of you might know him as the #1 Billion VJ fan. Also one of his best friends, I'm sure, as well. Scott Bradford, welcome, man. How's it going?
How's it going, guys?
Hey!
Welcome, Scott.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're glad you could join us too. Are you going to be going to the Fuego game on Saturday?
No, we're in Vegas.
Oh, that's
Yep.
true. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
next
Well.
trip is the 31st.
Oh, nice. Cool. Yeah, the following one. Well, don't worry. I got you guys. I'm actually going to be going to a Fuego game on Saturday. So we'll have
Nice.
some support there. So should
Right.
be interesting. Um, cool. Well, before we get started with this show today, too, for everyone who's watching right now, or even if you're watching after the fact, if you enjoy our podcast and the live shows that we do here as well, we would appreciate if you let a friend know about us. Easiest way might be just to share it wherever you're watching us right now, Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube, and just share the word around. And you're welcome to leave your comments as always. And even if it's after the fact, leave those comments. I usually go through old videos sometimes and look at old comments and respond. If you have any questions, we'll address them at any point. I know, as I mentioned before, there's a lot going on. I'm sure a lot of you got questions, and if we don't know the answers to them, then we have friends that work for Sac Republic that can help us out, maybe get us an answer, or if you have an idea for the team, then let us know, and we could pass your idea on to them as well. Cool. Also, if you guys aren't aware of it yet, we do have a new website, sacsoccerpod.com. If you want to listen to the show and you don't want to download an app, then this is the best way to do so, because anytime we upload a new episode, it is available there, usually within like 10-15 minutes. So check it out. You can listen to them there, or we also have links to specific apps that we're on. It's not all the apps that we're on, but it's just some of them. And I believe if you're on your cell phone and you tap on one of the buttons, it should open the app if you have it installed already. So feel free to check that out. And also, if you want to send us a voicemail message, you can record it on the website as well. And then we might be replaying it on a future podcast or live show as well. So feel free to use that to ask any questions, leave your comments on anything going on with Sac Republic or Central Valley soccer in general. And again, we may potentially be playing them on a future episode. Were you going to say something, Jared?
I was going to say, I can't make any promises on one way or the other, but there may or may not be some voicemails coming from Fremont Street after the match. We'll see.
Oh, that would be interesting. Hopefully we win, right? Otherwise, there might be a lot of beeping, no? If it's the referee.
Just really depends. I mean, if it ends up looking like a Cheech and Chong out in the field again, like last time we were out there. I mean, I'll repost the meme, just to kind of give an example on that. So we'll see how Saturday goes.
Yeah, well, we'll see. It's not going to be as easy as I think it's been other years with the Lights. So I would say that to people, right? That we're not playing against the same Lights team that was the team that everyone beat in previous years, right? This season, I think there's something else. And I mentioned it before the season, right? I had a feeling Las Vegas is going to be different. Let's not think of them as easy.
Yeah. I mean, they've definitely improved over the past year. I mean, they've had their moments, they've had their downfalls, so it's kind of iffy as far as they go. But that's Saturday. We're going to actually focus on Colorado Springs here, who are also kind of going in their different directions here and there.
Yeah. Well, speaking actually of Las Vegas, I haven't checked it yet, but you guys might know more of it too. Are they going to do any special promos, or what's the out there thing that they're going to do this time?
I did see, and I got a text message because apparently I'm still getting text messages from Las Vegas Lights. They're actually going to be swearing in, I think, like 70 people for U.S. citizenship during halftime.
Oh, wow. Hey.
That's kind of awesome.
Yeah. Hey, that's something that other teams could do as well. I mean, that's a pretty special occasion to do it with the crowd and all that. That's
yeah, absolutely. I was expecting another outlandish promotion like they're known for. I mean, last Labor Day, we know they had the cash gun, and we had seen Jennifer actually participate in it, getting trampled, unfortunately, but got a few dollars out of it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, they're known for all the dollars and the helicopter, right? I don't know if they brought it back this season or if it's in the plans, but
Probably not, especially after the FAA handled a complaint about them using the chopper in that manner.
yeah, it's risky, but leave it to the lights to do risky things, right? Cool. Well, speaking of Jennifer, our, as we like to call her, right, our Las Vegas correspondent, going to see if she could join us for the next podcast episode, and I'm sure she'll probably be going to the game, but if she is, we'll try to get her on the episode as well and whatnot. So
yeah, she's more than welcome to say hi to us that are making it to the match. I mean, we're going to be kind of hard to miss.
Oh yeah, especially if you have the towel out there, and yeah, easy to spot there. Well, let's go ahead and get started looking at how the standings are looking like. Again, it's not too bad, and again, even though we didn't win, people should still realize that we still have some games to catch up to some, and to some others, we're still there. But looking at the table here, we got San Antonio in first. They're moving up, and it's going to be tough for anyone to take that top 3 spot away from them. But below them, San Diego 49, also looking a little bit tough for anyone to take that away from them. But we'll see, maybe that might change. But when we look down, Colorado, New Mexico, us, I'm not sure too much El Paso, but I think Colorado, New Mexico, and us are actually going to be battling for that 3rd spot. I don't know how you guys feel, but that's sure how it looks like, and that just makes it more important that we get the 3 points tomorrow. But what are you guys' thoughts on how the standings are looking like up to this point?
I know San Antonio because they are the most dominant team in the house. So I'm surprised how Sacramento has came on to the top 5 right now. But the only for the tomorrow's challenge against Colorado Springs Switchbacks, because you might have some challenges ahead. Because we know there are 2 former players in this house, including one, Matt Mahoney, and then second, Colin Baltimore. Because I know these 2 players, they are pretty excellent as well. Because I know Matt Mahoney for a while, because he is definitely the most dominant player in the house. So I'm sure these current Sacramento Republic FC players, they need to know, they need to be aware with those complete strikeouts at this point. So yeah, this is the only test that they need to improve at this point.
Yeah, I'd say number 1 position. San Antonio's got the cursed seed on lock already. San Diego, I think, more likely has number 2 on lock as well. But yeah, the next big battle is going to be for number 3. I would say, best case scenario, we end up uprooting Colorado from 3rd, and we take 3rd by the end of the season. Worst case scenario, if we keep things good, maybe we'll get that number 7 seed. But already, this is still better than last year. I mean, I'm already impressed with where we are, even with our recent loss. Yeah, that takes us down a notch, but we're still sitting good at 5th. We still have a great chance of securing a home playoff match if we end up winning today, and of course beating Las Vegas, securing Las Vegas stays further below us. And New Mexico, they're having a bit of a Katy Perry moment, going hot and cold here and there. So hopefully we'll be able to use that to our advantage.
Yeah, they've been having, those moments like that too, and they're 2 points above us too, but just one more game than we do. So of course we win. Now we're 1 point above them, right? So that's the advantage of having games in hand, having that they're in place. But as I mentioned on the pod, we're gonna be playing against some of the teams that we're not too far from, right? Colorado's tomorrow. You got Las Vegas on Saturday. They're below us, but that game against Las Vegas, I think it's going to be a critical game this season. because they might have one more game than we do, but they're only 4 points behind us, right? So if you don't get the win, all of a sudden you're gonna see Las Vegas right there, really close to you, right? And not only that, but you're gonna get a team that is below you, that is gonna get closer to you. And there's other teams around there, right? I mean, Los Dos, they could pull a win and suddenly they're going to be really close to you as well. So really critical. I mean, if they get 3 points tomorrow and they get 3 points Saturday, I'm actually going to venture out and say that we're in playoffs. That's how confident I think that would be if we get 6 points. Because I think if we look at last season, I believe the team that got that last playoff ticket, I want to say they got 41 points. So if we judge it just based on that and based on getting the 6 points, that puts us at 43 points, then you would be in a pretty good zone to at least capture that 7th place. And not only that, right, but again, you push Las Vegas down and ultimately get closer to Colorado if you pull the win too. So you're more closer to the top 3 than, 5th through 7th. So really, really great. But of course, we're also going to be facing against teams that also realize the same thing. So it just makes the games more intense for us there as well. But I want to point something out that William mentioned earlier, but we're going to be seeing Matt Mahoney and Carlton Belmar return to Hart Health Park. How do you think that's going to go? We know Matt is more of a starter. I think Belmar has been more subbed in a couple of times. So we're probably for sure going to see Matt in the starting 11. What do you guys think?
Entirely yes, because I do know starting 11, I believe Matt will be in it. As for Belmar, I think he will be picked up in the second half, in my opinion, though.
Yeah, I can definitely see Matt in the starting 11. Carlton, you know what? I would say yes. I mean, given the fact that it's both of their first return to Hart Health Park since leaving the Republic FC, so I think highly likely they'll both be in the starting 11, and I'm hoping that the fans there at Hart Health Park tomorrow give them a standing ovation. Because we're always glad to welcome them back into the stadium that they played at, even if it was for a short while. They're still in our good graces, and we appreciate all that they've done with their time in Old Glory Red. I'm glad to see that they're still playing in the league as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, they were good players, and it's always great when you get former players back, and we always mention it, right? But when it's guys that we know are gonna respect their former team, right, and not do what we already know who did. So, yeah, definitely good for us to see them back, and not only that, right, but we're gonna see a completely different game than we did when we were out at Colorado, and we all know how that ended and the factors that were in place, right? The altitude and all that. So more even playing field, right? We can actually see what both teams bring to a table. But speaking of that, let's go ahead and take a look at first. Let's look at some of the Colorado's recent games, see what their form is looking like right now. Last game they played, oh man, it was a goal fest, right, against El Paso, 4-4. And I mean, it seems like lately they've had a lot of goal fests, right? I mean, at Orange County, it was a tie, 3-3. It was a goal fest at Phoenix, but didn't go their way, right, with the 4-0 loss there. Before that, it was another 3-3 tie against Charleston Battery. And then before that, they lost against San Diego 3-0. Last one they actually got was against Los Dos back in July 15th, right? So they haven't won in over a month now, technically, as of today. So this is a Colorado team that isn't in the same form they were when we played against them, right, guys?
Yeah, I mean, ever since that defeat, that they gave us, they've definitely been on the slide. I mean, like you said, they have not won a game in quite some time, and I'm starting to think King Supers up in Colorado must be having a sale on ties up there. I mean, they're basically Kroger's in Colorado, so they're probably getting them on the cheap. That explains the numerous 3-3s, the 4-4 match, and the surprising loss against Phoenix.
Yeah, unexpectedly, because I thought Colorado Springs should be able to win over Phoenix, but at this time, because I think the players and some of those coach and of course the head coach, they've been turned around suddenly different, or it may be possibly some kind of like a referee opinions, because sometimes between Colorado Springs, including Phoenix game, it's getting very heisty and things are getting much more fiercer competition, because I thought the referee can be much more aggressive manner, but in some cases it can be delusional at this point. So after that game, it goes for for the final two games earlier for Colorado Springs, a battle against the OC, and then the last one here 3-3, and then 4-4 against El Paso. It's a complete surprising page turner here, because I thought earlier Colorado Springs had played very well on the first half of the season, but I think things are going to turn around once again in the second half of the season, which things are getting a little, oh dear, they gone balancing up or probably low. It can be varied. So yeah, I think Colorado Springs are going to be a little bit tougher at this point, because what just happened to of that previous match against Phoenix Rising, which I did see several posts earlier in the past. Things have gone way upside down at this point.
Yeah, it's almost as if they don't want to take the cursed first place, as Jared mentions.
Yeah.
And they're probably trying to just get a top 3 finish there. But yeah, I mean, surprising how they've just fallen to. I mean, I saw them as a top 3 team for sure. I mean, they could still be there, right? I mean, they're sitting in the top 3 as we speak now, but I mean, they're in danger of losing that, right? Because potentially, if we beat them tomorrow and New Mexico gets a win, all of a sudden New Mexico is the new third place team, right? And then it's going to be, I mean, it's going to be a downhill battle from there, right? They could end up being pushed down to 5th place after being in 3rd, 2nd, even 1st, right? And a couple of weeks. So, yeah, that's impressive.
Well, with the New Mexico win, it would actually tie them with Colorado, because right now New Mexico is just 3 points behind. So that would be a two place tie for 3rd as far as that goes. But once again, that's barring New Mexico actually winning and then we beating Colorado. So a lot of that still yet to be determined, of course. But either way, I mean, things are looking good for us to leapfrog New Mexico finally, and puts us in better chance of securing that number 3 spot once we beat Colorado Springs, and there's some more games in hand.
Oh yeah. I mean, if we beat Colorado and Las Vegas, and all of a sudden we're in 3rd place, right? 6 points gets us 3rd place because we have a game in hand that New Mexico and Colorado have, right? So yeah, 3rd place is up for grabs. That's why I'm pretty confident in saying we got 6 points, and I think we got playoffs in the bag at the very least 7th place, because I just could not see anyone having 42 points in 8th place, especially as we get here near towards the end. I mean, that would be a crazy thing if you got a team with so many points, considering how many wins, right, we've gotten. And like I mentioned last season, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the team that barely qualified, which I think it may have been Los Dos. You guys could correct me if you guys remember. But I think it was Los Dos, the team that just barely made it. Was it Los Dos? I think it was.
I believe so. Yeah.
Wasn't
Yeah,
it
I guess I could
Oakland?
look here.
I want to say it might have been
Oakland.
Oakland,
Yeah,
I
'cause
think.
they did that crazy run.
Yeah, last season it was Oakland is on top four.
Oh,
And then
here it is.
top.
Yeah, because we were playing divisions last year.
Oh yeah, that's true. There was that too. It was the top four. Okay, yeah. So Oakland with 41 points. So I was right with the 41 points. So yeah, this is why I think 42 points. You could be a little bit more confident, right? Because they made it with 41. You got 42. All should be good. Like I said, just 6 points is what I think might be the good number. Of course, we're gonna have a lot more games, right? So if you get 6 points, I mean, you're gold, right? Just any additional points you get just makes you up higher in the table.
But also, you got to look at. So we do beat Colorado Springs. You've beaten now 3 of the top 4 teams, which should be a big confidence booster. It's these lower level or lower in the table teams. They have. I mean, you're losing to Monterey Bay. You're tying Oakland. Those are the games you should be winning. So it seems like they bring it for the big boys, and then they just play down to the other teams or just like lose focus. Like imagine if you would have beat all those lower teams, you would be in that top 3 right now. And then you'd have everything to gain. So I think they'll bring it for Colorado Springs. I'm even though I'm going, I'm still worried about the Las Vegas game. I think even more because it's the team below them. They usually, they beat them in the past. They tied this year, but it's those lower teams. For whatever reason, they just can't. They'll either tie them or like a 1-0 loss, and then there goes points you're leaving on the table when you should be having that. Like there should be no excuse for losing to 10th or 11th place, and then yet coming out you're beating San Antonio, you're beating New Mexico, possibly beating Colorado Springs. I mean, so that's soccer for you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah, there's crazy stories like that just don't make sense, right? It's like you beat the first place team, but then you can't beat this other team that's way below. Like RGB, right, is like one of those that's like right there way below, and yeah, I mean, some things are just unexplainable, but there probably is that motivation, right? Top team, you want to beat them, you want to move up and get closer to them. Bottom team, you probably have this confidence that like, oh, we could beat them easy, right? They're like way below, and you don't give it your all as you do with the top team. I think that there might be something with that.
Yeah, it ends up being just a whole bunch of trap games, unfortunately. I mean, we think, oh, they're nothing. They're like 9th, 10th, 11th or so, and then we end up taking the L home.
Yeah, and but yeah, like I said, 6 points, you're in a good spot because if we look at getting 6 points, you're at 43 points. You'd have 25 games played, so you'd be tied at games played with Los Dos and Oakland, right? And we would have 43 points, so we would have 11 more points than Los Dos and 13 more points than Oakland. So, I mean, that's a pretty good cushion of games that you have with them. And we still play against Los Dos, right, towards the end of the season. So, we could be looking at playoff opportunities here if in the following week already on Sunday. So hopefully that's the case there. We're getting. I'm assuming it's Sharon. I don't think it's you, Jared.
Nope, because I don't have access to it.
Yeah, and it's certainly not me because of course I'm managing the show here. But Sharon is saying so. Matt Mahoney is at his hotel. I welcomed him to the Face of the Sun on Instagram.
Hey, come back to Sacramento, Matt, because I know Spring has a little bit nicer, higher altitude, but now in Sacramento, pretty toasty.
Oh, let me get the violin out for that temperature out there.
Oh my God! Unless if you want to play the Vernon, this is how it goes.
I could imagine the violin not being played. I wish we had the sounds here. I could just add the violin sound, but I need to work on getting more sounds added here too. But yeah, that's good. It's good that you welcomed him already to the valley. Sharon,
there we go.
It's me. Yeah, there you go. She took the mask off now. It's Sharon. Confirmed. It wasn't me or Jared, so everyone knows. Cool. Well, welcome, Sharon. we will be having a blast, I think, at the event that you are at right now. Cool. Well, anyhow, let's gun for Colorado.
Kaboom.
Cool. Well, let's take a look at now what our form is like. Now that we take a look at Colorado's, and of course, as we know, and as Ryan and William here were witnesses of, right? We lost against Monterey at a. I mean, it was a close game, as I've always mentioned. I think I would venture out to say that all the losses we've had this season have been really close, which isn't a bad thing, right? To say that we didn't have a match where we just didn't have any opportunities. I mean, even that Colorado match, that was a 3-0 game. We know the factors that were in place, and the team just didn't look the same because of that. And so before that, we tied, as we remember, the last-minute goal by Roro against RGB Toros 1-1. And we got a really valuable win against New Mexico over there 2-1. Beat Charleston Battery in that really great game 4-2. And then the game we all still have memories and will forever be in our memories, right? The PK win against Sporting Kansas City. And then earlier before that, the valuable tie, I think, that we got at Phoenix that Jared got to witness there. So interesting form, right? I mean, yes, we lost the last one, but let's keep in mind that, you know, we had a pretty positive form before that in the last 5 games, right? I mean, we got some points out of those games there as well. So going into this one, it looks like, you know, things could be our way, right? What do you guys see as our form lately?
Let's start with you, Jared, because I know you know the expert.
Well, I mean, we've definitely gotten a better form. I mean, we've had great form in June, of course. July was kind of a little bit on the slide with losses against Birmingham and Colorado, and in this month Monterey. But still, I mean, we've done worse. I mean, last year was a great example of that, but I definitely see some improvement coming along the line, especially as we grow closer to the Open Cup final in Orlando in a few weeks. But yeah, I mean, we definitely could have used a little bit more communication, a little bit more possession in some of those games, especially against Birmingham. I mean, we definitely got outclassed in that match, but I don't see things getting worse. I only see things going further up. And I think we had some comment from Sharon.
Yeah, Sharon said, "Hi, Tina. She's not going to the match. Some concert takes precedence."
Precedence. Oh, there is a concert in the same night, actually.
It happens sometimes, right? I mean, there's a game and there's something else, and I mean, it's inevitable too. And if you can't make it to a game, it's understandable too. I mean, we've all been there, right? Other things, but we're still watching though, right? I don't know about you guys, but I'll still have the Fox 40 app.
Yep, same I did.
Yep, Tina said totally odd.
Don't worry, Tina. The same thing happened to me last year. The same night that we were to play New York Red Bulls 2 at Heart Health Park, Paul Oakenfold was playing here in Tempe, and I'll put it this way: it was a rare disappointment from Paul at that venue. So I think I would have wanted to see us crush Red Bulls 2 in person. Now I look in hindsight. So don't feel bad about it, Tina.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so those are our latest games too, and if we look forward to, because everyone knows, right? I'm sure all of you here, everyone watching, we all have a countdown to September 7th, right? And especially those of us that are going to travel there, I think we're so anxious for it to already be that week, to hop on that plane, to get to Orlando and put up with the humidity, but it's okay because we're more excited than to really care about what the weather's like. So it doesn't matter what that's there, but after the game tomorrow, as we mentioned before, Las Vegas on Saturday. Then we go back home to play once again against Oakland Roots. After that, and this actually is an interesting thing for us to talk about right now. We do play against Louisville City on September 3rd, but Jared, you want to talk more about this topic that I have here about potentially getting rescheduled and what happened?
Yeah, a couple days ago, I had gotten a tweet on my timeline, actually brought up by Connor, who had posted about Orlando City.
I was like, I got you. Say it again too. I think this thing.
Okay. Well, I first found out about it when our lovely friend Connor had actually posted this to the timeline about Orlando City SC rescheduling their match against Inter Miami CF, which would happen on Saturday, the 3rd of September. So they're rescheduling that to October, and that seems a little bit odd that they would just do so just a matter of a couple weeks beforehand. You would think if it was a bigger priority, once they find out they're going to the finals, they would reschedule. They would have already got those wheels going, like maybe a couple days after our match on July 27th, or maybe the first week after, or something like that, instead of waiting all this time until late August to finally do something about that. Now, as far as our schedule goes, we actually have a match against Louisville City on the 4th, I believe. Yeah. So this is artificially giving. Okay, so
on the 3rd,
yeah, because okay, so it was on the 3rd then. So actually, I think that's on the same. That would have been on the same day that Orlando had their match against Inter Miami, I believe. So now this is giving Orlando City the advantage of rest, because they've got now that their first game before Open Cup is August 31st. Yeah, and we see right there that match has been rescheduled to October 5th. So it's a little bit odd that both Floridian teams and Don Garber have colluded to giving Orlando City a advantage of additional rest, whereas with our match against Louisville City, that's going to make us, that's going to put us at a disadvantage rest-wise. But yeah, like Sharon mentioned, fingers crossed that the USL match gets rescheduled. But I'm thinking more than likely it's not going to be, given the fact that USL is headquartered in nearby Tampa. So I sense a Florida fix here.
That's a good point. You know, I didn't even think about that. The fact that they're based in Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think not only that too, right? But Louisville, we know how much praise they've gotten, right? They just brought.
Oh yeah.
What was it? 14,000 people, I think they were saying. And
I thought it was like 17,000.
What was it? Yeah, somewhere around there. Yeah. It's kind of tough, right? When they pull in those people, how open are they going to be to swapping a Saturday game for a Wednesday game, which would probably be their only option, probably, right? Is to, if they reschedule it, it would probably have to be moved to like a Wednesday out of all the available dates.
Yeah.
That's tough. I mean, you would hope that they would want to work with us, right, as a fellow USL team, right, just to show support for your fellow team. But I don't know. I mean, when you have that many people going to a Saturday game, they might be like, eh. And especially when we're the ones coming to town, right, and we're the hot team in USL, and more teams would want to go see us play against their home team because they'll know it's going to be a bigger game.
Yeah. I know I'm basically wearing the tinfoil hat on this, but adding 1, 2, and 3 definitely add like a MFer.
Sharon said what Tina says. MLS in fear. The Green Reaper USL squad is coming for Orlando. That's what we're hoping for. That Jared could put that meme out again.
Oh yes.
What the Tower Bridge Battalion mentioned about this? Yes.
Yeah.
Grim Reaper.
I've already created another meme with the Rock that so far I've only put on the fan-based Republic FC Discord. I may I may end up posting it to some of our channels. I mean, there might be a little bit of colorful language on it, but there's always SOTR after dark.
Yeah. But Sharon makes a good point. Yeah, the BS gives us more motivation for sure.
Might have been foolish.
Yeah, I'd like to get your guys' opinion on something, though. I'm actually in favor of them playing that Saturday game at Louisville because, say we were to move it, right? It's like the Wednesday before or something like that, right? Is that when they would move it to?
Yeah.
Possibly, I think, or maybe another Wednesday.
Well, if they were to do that, then you're making 2 trips to the East Coast within a week. And, I mean, I've never done that, but I'm assuming that much travel can take a toll on you. So say you go Saturday, play Louisville, play maybe, your second squad or a couple of your, main guys maybe to warm them up or something like that. And then you just stay on the East Coast. You don't have to worry about the time difference or anything. You're already there. And you got basically all Sunday recover, Monday, Tuesday, full days. You don't have to take another travel day. You're already there. So you got 3 full days just to completely focus on that one game. You don't have to take a travel day. So you're actually buying yourself a day. You acclimate to the time change. So you have no excuse. Plus, with Orlando doing what they did, now they just took away their one and only excuse of if they lose to us, well, we were tired. We just had a game. So there goes your one and only excuse, boys. Now it's all or nothing, though. So if you lose, you lost with your first team fully rested. So I'd rather play, a team that has no excuse. So when you beat them, you got no excuse.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
True.
Definitely. I think I mentioned the travel thing as well. How it could play to our favor to be so close and not have to do the 5.5-hour trip that we're gonna have to do flying to Orlando. So it works out to do that, and I almost feel like Coach Briggs is gonna actually have a B squad of sorts on that day, rest all the starters, which would probably be good, right? Don't risk any injuries. Maybe rotate them into the game for like 15, 30 minutes in the second half. But I think he's going to have a completely different squad. And I don't know, potentially some players might just make the trip out to Orlando directly, not even go to Louisville, right? Some of the starters, and just start to get them acclimated with the humidity and with the conditions of the pitch and all that. So that would actually probably be a good idea if they just separate the squad, have some of them already be in Orlando, right? Some of the starters.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, I'm with you, Jared. I mean, it would be nice if they did reschedule it, right? Just to show the support of the league, right? And just to follow with what MLS did as well. But I mean, as we get closer to that day, it's looking like they probably would have done it already. I think if they were going to do it, right? Since, they would have to change a lot of things. And I think maybe even at the USL level, it might be a little bit tougher to get things rescheduled, right? Since there's a lot more things going on. And MLS level, I think they're more used to get rescheduling games. So yeah, there's a lot there.
And I agree with Sharon, too.
Yeah, Sharon brought a good point too. We were talking about it offline on travel arrangements and just how much goes right with any travel, right? And we might not realize it. I mean, I certainly didn't think of all the little details that go with things, right? And things that, team needs to decide who's going to go, who's going to come back, right? Because of course, maybe not all the squad that plays at Louisville is going to be traveling to Orlando, right? Some players might be making the trip back, especially if you got some rotation squad players, or of course, in the unfavorable event of an injury happening, then they probably would be flying back. But they're probably not going to have all the players that will be in Orlando, I think, in that game. So lots going on there. So shout out to the team staff that has to do all those arrangements, right? Because they need to figure out who's going to actually fly out to Orlando from Louisville. You need to set them up in hotels. You need to set up the flights, figure out, if you're going to need to get any connecting flights or what. But I'm assuming there might be some direct flights to Orlando since the distance isn't all that much from there.
Yeah, I mean, just getting travel arrangements set up for one person can be daunting itself, especially on the corporate level. But you figure you've got to set up arrangements for the players, the training staff, coaching staff, anyone from the front office that's going. So yeah, obviously that's going to take some time to plan. So that's what kind of upset me with the fact that Orlando and Inter Miami were just so quick to reschedule, and that kind of leaves our cheeks to the wind on this.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, right? But I mean, Scott made a good point, right? They have no excuse now, and as much as we look at it as like, oh, they're gonna have more rest and whatnot. Sometimes it could be the complete opposite, right? We're gonna have players that are gonna be more informed, versus they're gonna have players that aren't gonna be playing competitively, right? So there is that as well, right? I mean, the other games might be a couple of days after, but like I said, not all the starters are gonna be like seeing 90 minutes. In fact, I feel like there might only be like 3 starters that might be seeing the full 90 minutes, right? But most of the squad is going to be composed of players that aren't going to be starting on that Wednesday. So it'll play to our favor, right? That we'll have some of the rotation players that are going to be key, right? Like I'm thinking like a Malik Foster that'll probably be rotated into the match in the final. He'll get to see more minutes, and so you're going to have your rotation players actually, get more playing time and be more match fit for when they're needed on Wednesday. So that could benefit us there as well. So yeah, there's good things I think out of maybe not rescheduling it as well. Cool. Well, let's go ahead and go back to tomorrow's match. And this is a question that we always ask, right? Because we have 2 amazing goalkeepers, but who do you guys got starting tomorrow, considering that, on Saturday we also have another game as well? Would you start Danny V or Carlos? And let's go in screen order first. William.
I know the last time I went to Monterey, I know I did see Danny V. But I do think Carlos that might be filling in, but maybe I will save for Danny V, because I know we do have a challenge against Colorado Springs, because Colorado Springs are a pretty tough team. So I am going for Danny V instead.
Yeah, I'm going Danny V as well. I mean, this is a team that shut us out 3-0 in the mountains. So this is definitely going to be a great time to get some payback. So I definitely say Danny V for starting. I would mention Las Vegas, but I think that's a little bit far ahead right now. So I would say for tomorrow, Danny V.
And I'll also take Danny V. And if you looked at Colorado Springs, when you guys had all the scores up there, they're a feast or famine team right now. They either score a bunch or they score none. So if you can hold them to that 0, you got yourself a really good chance then. I mean, you just frustrate them. Maybe like go total defense the first 75 minutes and then wear them down and then just pour it on at the end. But I would definitely take Danny V with a team like that.
So I'll be of the unpopular opinion here and say that I would choose Carlos for this one. And I'm only saying that just because we have a game on Saturday. And I think if we take a look at both games, Colorado and Las Vegas, of course, it would be great if we won both games. But if I had to pick which one we would win, I think the more critical one is on Saturday, right? Because we mentioned before, and Scott, you mentioned it too, right? Las Vegas is below us, and we haven't done as good with the teams that are below us. And it'll be really critical, I think, more so to get the win on Saturday. And I would want to have Danny V in the net on Saturday. So that's what I got. And then we got Tina saying Danny as well. And Sharon also says Danny, so I'm officially the one that has the unpopular opinion on this one, which is good. I'm glad when we don't all side with the same thing, and then we figure out what coach. But usually, coach I think picks opposite of what I think is going to be the goalkeeper. So I think coach is going to go with Danny though for this one, and for Saturday is what I think he's going to probably do there. Cool. Well, other than Danny, who do you guys got in your starting 11 tomorrow? And again, looking at Saturday as well as the game that we're gonna have in just days after tomorrow. What do you got, William?
Well, because I do know Monterey doesn't have Roro on it, so he will be appear on Wednesday's match. So I think the first go, well, I could say Roro, and also possibility there might be some surpriser actually. I do believe there might be going to be surpriser kick could be likely to get a first go. I say maybe I'll go with Malik Foster for a first go, in my opinion, though. So that's it.
Do you see Malik Foster starting tomorrow?
I believe maybe so, yeah.
Okay. What about you, Jared?
I think they're going to. I think coach is going to keep Malik Foster as a sub. I mean, especially for the second half, because more than likely we may need that speed and that power through in the second half, as we've witnessed multiple times throughout the year. So yeah, I would say Malik Foster comes in during the second half. But as far as starting, I would definitely say Roro because he, of course, wasn't with us in Monterey, just like William said. So I definitely say Roro starts. I would say Keko starts as well. I think that the majority of this starting 11 carries over, with the exception of maybe not Jack Gurr. I mean, maybe he sits on the bench, comes in during the second half or so. I see Matt LaGrassa starting as well. Damia possibly, maybe. Yeah.
He may came close though.
Yeah. He definitely had some good opportunities this past weekend.
Well, what about you, Scott?
Well, obviously we got Roro coming back in. At the back, I'm not sure what's going on with Desmond, if he's hurt or not, but if he's healthy, I could see him coming back in. Him and Casey usually are a pretty good combo. So I could see that. LaGrassa probably taking Viator's place. And this is my own just personal opinion. I've been dying all year to see Martinez and Luther at the same time, both up top. Like, you got two fast guys with height, and then maybe sub Malik in for Luther sometime in the second half. But I'm really curious to see both those guys, especially Luther. He has, I think, the most hustle out of all the guys on the team behind probably Malik. But that's what I want to see. Will I see it? Probably not. They'll probably just stick Douglas up top by himself like they usually do or whatever. But I would love to see a two-man front. You got height and speed on both of them, and they both can dribble. So Keko's good as well, but I mean, he's just a different type of player. So he's like a super sub as well. Him and Malik, they would be awesome super subs. But otherwise, the only new ones would be LaGrassa and Desmond if he's healthy. I don't know if there's an injury or not. Him at the back, but otherwise, as is.
Yeah. Sharon said there was one match with Luther and Dougie when Keko had a rest. Yeah, there was one. I can't remember which one it was, but
I think it was from Monterey match or possibly away from Monterey, but I'm not sure. Because I know Keko earlier, I think he might have a little bit of minor injury or something.
Yeah, there was one. Yeah, that doesn't come to mind too. But yeah, you're right, Sharon. There was one match where they both started. But I'm with Scott on this one too. I think it would be great to see both of them start the match too, because we're gonna need the speed against this Colorado side. We know what they're capable of, right? Even though they might not be in a good run, as was mentioned earlier, they've been scoring a lot, right? And so either they get scored on a lot or they score a lot, and but clearly their defense is also not being as great, right? If you get scored on the same amount of times you get scored, then clearly there's a team that is not afraid to attack and believes a lot of spaces out back, right? When you see these 4-4, 3-3 scores, there's definitely that. Sean said it was a home match. Okay.
It is, yeah.
I think you're right. Yeah, I think it was a whole match where Luther and Dougie started. Just doesn't come to mind which one it was, but yeah, it would be definitely interesting to see them again start a match like that. Tina definitely need Roro back in. Yeah, we definitely. I mean, I don't know about you, William. You were there at the stadium. I mean,
I was there, but no Roro inside entirely. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure. I mean, your observations were like you could right away tell that he wasn't on the pitch, right? Like the team was much different without him being on there. Huh?
Exactly right, because I think he made his rare appearance when he landed New Mexico. So that's why he is taking a lot more timing, planning accordingly because he has family on it. Yeah, family duties.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm glad the coach made the decision to not take him for that game because we know we want him healthy for September 7th, right? And the poor guy has been going back and forth. Oh, Scott, he's been going back and forth too. I mean, I mentioned it again, right? The semifinal cup game, how he mentioned that he was already cramping up and what the 70th something minute too. And, you know, the fact that he like was able to still pull through and, you know, go all the way to the PKs and still be able to pull a really great PK shot in that last shot is really admirable. And, you know, we want to see that same attitude from him. But if, you know, you keep taking him to all these games and starting him and all that, then it could take a toll, even getting rotated into a match, right? So it was good that he got some necessary rest. And but hopefully he's actually traveling to Las Vegas so Jared and Scott can actually see him there too.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if coach decides to not take him to Las Vegas on Saturday, though, being that, you know, we have a game tomorrow. But hopefully he does, though.
I think so. Only time will tell.
Yeah, because, you know, you definitely need his leadership on the pitch, and, you know, it makes a big difference not having him around. But we definitely, again, like I said, we want him on September 7th. We want him to be healthy and want him to be there. You know, you need those guys that are the motivators, and we know he's one of those guys in the locker room, and we've seen it in some of the videos that they've released, and you need a captain like that. So we shall see. Cool. Well, I know that we've talked here about this match. Let's go ahead and take a look at predictions. I know Jared and I made our predictions, and we'll mention them right now. That we mentioned on the podcast before. But William, what's your prediction, and like who do you got scoring first?
I remember the last time when Sacramento played Colorado Springs in Colorado, they were lost eventually because the problem is of that higher elevation.
Mm-hmm.
So right now in tomorrow, a different story. It's going to get very intensely hot outside. So I think the scores, it's getting a little bit random here, but unlike traveling to Colorado does, I do believe, in my opinion, I would go for as 2-0 with Sacramento in lead, or possibly 2 goals and 1 goal with Sacramento in lead, in my opinion. So I think that would be a possibility. So I think my first goal, as I mentioned earlier, if Roro came back here at home to play, I think that would be him to be the first goal to win.
Cool. And then, of course, like I mentioned on the podcast, we had mentioned Jared had said a 1-0 win. Malik Foster scoring first, and then Luther scoring if he's not available. And I actually said a tie, 1-1. Roro scoring. If he's not there, then Keiko. But it's going to be a tough one. But I think even if we happen to pull a tie, it's pretty valuable too. Getting a play, even though it's at home, and of course you want to win all your home games. Getting a tie would not be a bad thing, considering how much games they've been playing and getting it's a team above us in the table. would not be a bad thing too. Because again, like I mentioned, Las Vegas I think is the game where you got to get the 3 points. If you don't get them, it's going to be a tough, dramatic end of the season.
Exactly right. Until if they are prepared enough for the upcoming U.S. Open Cup Grand Final match.
Yeah. Well, and then you got that too. I think that's why it makes it more critical that you get 6 points out of these next 2 games, because after that, you're getting closer, of course, to the Cup final, and coach is gonna have to again probably do rotations around the squad and start players that won't be starting in the Cup final, and so that just means that we're probably going to be fighting for ties than for wins, right? Because other teams are going to be starting the best they have, taking advantage of the fact that we're going to be having those players.
Yes.
So, yeah, because I mean, the worst thing you could be in is, after the Cup final, having to be battling for those last couple of playoff spots. You don't want to be in that situation because the Cup final is going to take a toll on the team. And I think, after that Cup final, you're probably going to want to again have your rotation squad, right? Because let's remember, right? We're going to be actually traveling to a couple of different spots after the Cup final, and we're still going to have a close the season, right? I mean, let me just quickly here put the games that we have after the Cup final. We get to host Hayden Sargis as Ludon United, and that's going to be right Saturday after the final, just a couple of days after. So again, might be seeing some rotations there because it's going to take a toll on the players to not only play a final but also make the flight back to Sacramento, which we mentioned again, 5 hours and a half approximately travel time. That takes a toll on you, especially when you have to play the following Saturday. And then it's a home game against Orange County. And then you have to travel to San Antonio. That's not going to be an easy match. It's going to be really tough. And then Phoenix, as Jared knows, right? Phoenix it looks like they're trying to make a leap back to playoff spots, right? At least this Phoenix is trying to close better. And then you travel to LA, play against those, and then 2 home games against Pittsburgh Riverhounds, or Danny B's former team. Should be an interesting one. And then last game of the season against the San Diego Loyal. That is going to be another tough match, being that they're going to be trying to be in the top 3. Or maybe at that point they might already be in the top 3 and just fighting for that first spot. So not going to be an easy thing. So that's why you got to get the points there. So after the Cup final, if coach needs to rest some players for that game in a couple of days, and even for the game against Orange County, then you could do so and not have to worry too much about like, hey, we might be losing the 3 points or just getting ties because you're in a good spot. So that is what we have. That is our scenario, but we're not gonna have that many matches after the Cup final, right? It's 7 matches after that. So we're getting close to the end of the season, and it's all coming right at us. So yeah, next chance to Sac. Woot.
Where does the time go? I mean, it just seemed like it felt like maybe a couple weeks ago was the birthday match against FC Tulsa, and now here we are almost to September.
Close enough, yeah. Almost to Labor Day weekend.
I cannot wait.
Oh yeah, we. If it was up to us, we would be in Orlando already. I certainly would already be there if if I was able to already. But yeah, we're gonna have a blast. Like we mentioned before, we're gonna be doing a lot of live shows that week, and we're already thinking about what we're gonna be doing. But certainly the first live show that we're gonna be doing is gonna be Sharon and myself at the San Francisco airport on Labor Day, sometime around 7 a.m. that day. So if anyone is up early, you could join us for like 5-10 minutes and just start talking about it. So, or if you're traveling too, let us know when your flight gets there, and we could meet up over there. But we'll be getting there Monday evening to Orlando.
And fingers crossed on Labor Day. Hopefully, I'll be tagging Sac Republic in a video from Miami, enjoying a little cafecito and maybe a medianoche sandwich somewhere on Miami Beach. We'll see. I'm keeping my fingers crossed about it too.
That would be cool. Yeah, if you're able to do that and do some responsible sticker slabs. So we'll also be we're taking over Florida everywhere, right? Sticker slabs.
Oh yeah.
Wherever you could slap responsibly too, right?
Yep.
Tina said, "I'll be patiently waiting for you guys to land." When are you getting there, Tina? By the way, because Sharon and myself are getting there Monday evening on Labor Day. I don't know who else is traveling on Labor Day, but feel free to let us know if you're going there or if you're going the weekend before. I mean, it lends itself to if you want to travel Saturday. I mean, you got the long weekend. It kind of works out to our advantage. So, Tina said about 30 minutes before. Oh, great. Hey, great. Well, we'll see you there. Hey, Tina, if you want to have like a, if you want to do one of those poster boards or something, so me and Sharon spot you, right? And like you're greeting us like you're in Florida, like you're from there. That'd be really funny. You could do so as well. But yeah, we're looking forward to seeing you there. And you guys won't have to get an Uber because I'm actually gonna be getting a car. So I'll be the Uber for anyone who's around there too. And if anyone has a flight, tag along. I mean, if there's seats in the car, then feel free to hop on, and we'll take you to your hotel if you happen to be at the airport sometime on Labor Day in the evening, sometime after 5.
Who knows? Maybe we could fit her in for the Wawa and Publix run.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be happening, Publix. And we might be doing a little short Instagram live as we order those subs because I've never had them. But
oh yeah,
Jared, I know you. You say they're the
they
best.
Are, and they are life changing. I mean, you think Firehouse subs is good? Oh, they ain't got nothing on Publix. I mean, first of all, whatever city you're in, they have a local sub specifically. In Atlanta, they have both an Atlanta Falcon sub and an Atlanta United sub. Jacksonville, they have a Jacksonville Jaguars sub. Orlando has an Orlando City sub. Miami has an Inter Miami Club sub as well. So we're talking localized subs. I mean, to be honest, the Orlando City SC sub, it's got black bean hummus. I'm really not too big on hummus, but they do have other subs to choose from. Hell, I may have them. I may see about asking them to do a Jacksonville Jaguar sub, which is hot chicken tenders, cheese, bacon, a couple other things there as well. So fingers crossed. But then again, it doesn't surprise me if the Miami Public subs might have a Dolphin sub for Scott. I mean, I guess if you like the Dolphins or whatever, I mean, it's whatever.
I'm sure Scott knows.
Oh, hey, Scott.
How about them Jets, huh?
Hey, go bust the ball somewhere else.
And Jose Luis Sosa is giving a welcome.
Hey, Mr. Forza Power.
Good friend, Mr. Forza Power. Hi, Mr. Forza. Thank you for being on. It's good to see all of you here. Yes, we are indeed really excited to be here and be able to watch another game tomorrow. And that's a good thing about having to catch up to games, right? Is that you just have a lot of games to watch you in midweek. Hello. He hopped on there too. Thank you for joining us here. If you want to watch more of what we mentioned, feel free to go back on the video here because we are here at the end of the show. And tomorrow we have to win, and Saturday as well, like I mentioned. 2 games where we have to get as much points as possible. Don't give up points. Like I said, that's why I think even a tie. I mean, I would venture out to say that even just getting 2 ties in both of the games is probably not a bad thing, but you don't want to give up points because these are teams that are so close to you, and you could be in a mess at the end of the season if you do that. And the last thing we want is to have more dramatic moments because I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to go visit the cardiologist at the end of the season because the cup final might be dramatic. And certainly, I don't know about you guys, but I know all of us, we're going to be super nervous right before the final game and throughout the game, right? It's going to be a bunch of anxiety going through us and all that. And we already had enough in the semifinal game. So last thing we need is a dramatic end of season where we're counting points and we don't want to do math, please. Right? Jared knows it well, right? We were doing the math last year and I hate math, please. No math.
Yeah, I'm surprised I didn't get in trouble with my doctor a couple days after the Open Cup match. Surprisingly enough, my blood pressure was actually lower that day compared to previous visits. So I don't know. Maybe it's actually good for my heart to get stressed. I don't know, but I don't know. We'll see once September rolls around.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, adrenaline maybe is not too bad to. Well, we won, right? So maybe that's why everything ended up being good.
Yeah.
So did you guys get tickets already for the final Orlando?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, we got them right when those tickets were on sale. Well, in fact, actually, some of us actually ended up getting them before they were on sale to the general public because we got people that know people that are season ticket members in Orlando, so we got the perks of getting the early access pre-sale tickets, and Sharon and myself were able to get tickets in a section not too far from the team bench, so it'll be interesting sitting around home fans. But if you guys have not experienced that, I know it might seem a bit intimidating to be sitting around, and I'm not saying supporter group fans, right? Because I don't advise anyone to sit in an away supporter section.
No,
but I'm just saying, just your typical home fans too. You should experience that because it's quite interesting to be the only fan to celebrate in a section that is not designated for away fans, but in a section where you're not going to get you're not going to get fans that are as rowdy as the supporter group fans. So if you can get tickets near the team bench, then it's worth it. I think I paid like $40 something for my ticket, so it's not too bad, and you get a pretty good view if you're able to get one. How much will you guys spend on that game with the round trip, hotel, and food? I'm thinking of traveling with my two kids. I'll mention mine, but Jared, do you have like an estimate of how much you've spent or how much you'll be spending?
Well, I know for hotel, I'm splitting with Scott. So since we got a little bit of an upgrade, I know for my share, I'm paying $180. But then again, we're also staying in downtown Orlando. Depending on where in Orange County you're going to be staying at, you could pay less or you could pay more. It just really depends. Southwest, at the time I booked it, I just needed a few more points. So I was able to spend like maybe $60 to get the additional points. And so the flight to Orlando was based on points plus the $5.60 September 11th fee. Flying back to Phoenix was about maybe $173. But once again, Phoenix is going to be a major hub. Sacramento is going to cost more because it's kind of a smaller market airport. So of course they're going to jack the price up. So I would definitely look at Southwest. If you're going to be there a couple days, you can gauge as far as if you're going to have to check luggage underneath. But then again, Southwest is 2 bags free. If you really, really want to squeeze it, you could look into Spirit. God help you if you have to. But at least there's some options there. So even though it's cutting it close, you might still find some good options. And if you need some help with hot wire hotels, let me know. I know some tricks or two as far as looking at some of the opaque hotels, but you didn't hear that from me.
Oh yeah, hot wire. Yeah, we don't really know what it is. We just right.
That is why
please don't.
The best hotel deals ever.
And then also, I went a different route than Jared. I had to pay full price because I don't get the perks like he gets. So for full price, like you're looking at I spent flying out of Sacramento for everything was about $710, $720. That's splitting the hotel with Jared, flight round trip. But I went through Delta because their Southwest times were just ridiculous. I mean, and I'm not going to leave Jared wait until midnight for me to get in or whatever. So I had to kind of like get there. And that's with me leaving at like 6 a.m. So, I mean, and I'm getting in at 4 a.m. or 4 p.m. their time. So I felt that was fair enough. I paid probably $70 more than Southwest, but I just stop in Salt Lake City for like an hour and a half, visit the Mormons, and then hop on, straight to Orlando from there. So for me, at least, it's gonna be a $710. I'll take that any day of the week, round trip.
Oh yeah, that's a
yes.
good deal.
Yeah, especially with it technically still being a Labor Day week / weekend or so. So it's, I mean, you got to take advantage of that. And then my flight into Orlando, if I forego Miami a couple days beforehand, if I just do Orlando and that's it, I'd be leaving Phoenix at like 5 in the morning or so, and then getting in about 2 or 2:30 p.m. local time. So jet lag is gonna be hellacious if I just do the Orlando trip. If I do decide next week that, hey, maybe I can swing Miami, that means I could cash out my Orlando trip from Tuesday, fly into Miami on Sunday using those same points, and then come Tuesday, just take a Flixbus from Orlando into Miami, still get in about the same time or so. But, and that's just what I have with my options. Like they say on the commercials, your results may vary.
Yeah. Of course, Mr. Forrest and anyone else who is planning on going, as with any flight, travel, whatever hotel that you plan on getting, book early, right? Don't wait till last minute, right? Because the price is only going to go up and from there on. But I think it plays to our advantage that it's not before Labor Day. So if you're trying to go, try to go either on Labor Day or the day after, because it might be pretty expensive if you try to go a couple of days before Labor Day. But in my particular situation with like flight round trip, it was like 400, but I actually got a direct flight. So if anyone wants to get direct flights to Orlando, you could actually fly directly from San Francisco. I haven't checked the other airports, but there might be one. But I know San Francisco has them. Not too much, right? Like I said, 400 round trip or even 300. I think if you look, depending what day you're planning on going. And hotel wise, I would say if you don't mind driving like 20 minutes to downtown, there's some pretty good cheaper options around the airport area. That's where I'm staying at. So if you don't mind doing that, there's that too. And then food wise, I mean, there's just a lot of different options and for different price points. That's the good thing about it being in Orlando. Like for me, my total cost with all that, and I'm getting a rental car too, is probably going to be around 900, but definitely less than 1,000 for the full week. But I'm staying till Friday. But I know some of you are coming back Thursday. So if you're coming back Thursday, I think easily you could probably spend 500 or less if you depending what flights you get. But if you're okay with not getting a direct flight and making one connection, even maybe two connections, and like Jared said, Spirit Airlines, if you're on a budget, then you could probably squeeze it to be 500 if you're doing like a Tuesday to Thursday thing. So there's definitely, I think it's affordable if you plan it out that way. So and
also if you need to if you're getting around Orlando without a rental car or anything like that, you could still get from the airport into downtown Orlando with ease. For example, if I do fly into Orlando International, there is a Lynx bus, the local transit system, like the Animal, LYNX. I can take one bus and connect with one of their Sunrail stations closest to the airport, and I could take that train, which is basically a commuter rail, take it into downtown Orlando to Church Street, and that puts me several blocks away from Exploria Stadium, and actually just a few blocks from our hotel as well, the Aloft. So there's definitely options there, even if you're not driving.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of good. I'm glad you mentioned that, Jared. There's a lot of transportation options there. So it works out great. If you do plan on staying at one of the hotel that are near the airport, a lot of them offer a shuttle. I know the one I'm staying at has a free shuttle service that takes you to and from the airport. So if you don't want to rent a car out and you just want to take that and then maybe take an Uber to downtown Orlando, which again is like about 20 minutes away from airport area, then you have that option there as well. But if you're planning on going, I would get your ticket soon because they're starting to sell out real quick. And let me put the tickets here real quick. I mean, if you're trying to get 2 tickets, it looks like this might be the only section here, 110. I don't know if there's 3 tickets, so there's might not be 4 tickets there. I don't know, you guys, since you guys got the tickets in the supporter section, do you guys know if there's more tickets available there that maybe I'm just not seeing on here, like through another site? What do you guys know on that?
Well, I haven't tried any other secondary market sites, but Exploria Stadiums, in their code of conduct, they do advise strongly to go with Ticketmaster because tickets bought anywhere else may not necessarily be legit. You know, they may not scan correctly, and then you'd be at the mercy of the party you bought it from. So just a word of warning there. But then again, with Ticketmaster, as a lot of us have known since at least the 90s, they are willing to tack on the fees, but at least this way it's a legitimate ticket. So I would lean more towards Ticketmaster than say StubHub or SeatGeek. But if you have to use it as an option, just a word of warning.
Yeah. And if you're trying to go, I mean, it looks like they've been selling out.
Yes. Earlier and several weeks ago, they were on sale and they have several seats available. But right now, it's nearly almost sold out.
Yeah, so if anyone's trying to go, I mean, if you want 2 tickets, hop on and get these right away because these are only 2 tickets side to side. Or if you don't mind getting more tickets but sitting in different seats, it looks like some sections do have multiple ones here too, right? So if you're planning on, getting some here, you're not too far from wherever you go with, right? You'd be able to have that. I know you guys got the tickets in we have 2 supporter sections, right? Can you guys tell me what those sections were again?
102 and 103.
So 102 and 103. Let's see if they might not have them here. That's 102. Okay, so if anyone would want to sit near them, I mean, looks like this section here has 2 right there. I mean, yeah, granted they're not side to side, but you won't be that far from our 2 supporter sections, which are right here. So if you want to get those, what is that section? It's 104.
Looks like either 104 or 105. Probably 104.
Okay, yeah, it might be 104. So there's 2 tickets there if anyone wants them to. But me and Sharon, we're going to be sitting somewhere here. I think it was like 119 that we have, or maybe it was 19. One of those 2 there. Team benches, I believe, going to be right here, right, away bench. So if anyone's trying to sit closer to the team bench, then you want to look at this side of the stadium.
I also got an insurance ticket. Basically, the ticket that went on sale before it became available. They became available to the supporters. Mine is in section 20. So if anyone that absolutely needs a ticket, if they're flying into Orlando, but they need 1 ticket, get in contact with me because I mainly got that ticket just in case that the supporter section tickets sold out. But thankfully, I was able to get my section 102 ticket on time, and I think I paid like maybe $30 or so. So we'll sort it out. So just let me know if you do need a ticket. Although we'll be in section 20, which is not a supporter section. So definitely be careful with what you wear because apparently Orlando City FO, our front office, has supposedly been wary of people wearing away jerseys or merchandise in other sections.
But I think we clarified that, right? As like we could technically be allowed to wear that as long as you're not in the Orlando supporters section, right?
Oh yeah. I mean that's a given. I mean, obviously you don't want to be sitting in their supporter section wearing, and not expect to not get carried out in the ambulance or anything like that. But just the top of them. Okay. Tina was making mention, but just the top of them. She also mentioned Delta and American Airlines have some pretty decent flight prices as well. I'm hoping so, because I know American Airlines, at least last year, they were having some great deals. I mean, I was able to fly out for a lot of matches using them, but it seems like this year they've kind of dried up. But maybe things are looking up again for American.
Yeah,
Exactly.
hopefully so there. So again, glad we went through this too. So if anyone wants tickets, just get on it soon, because I mean, it's going to be a sold out stadium, and I wouldn't be surprised if they get sold out here in probably like a week, 2 weeks, right? Definitely come game time that week. If you want a ticket, it's going to be through, unfortunately, just the resale market, but it's going to be something else, right? This stadium has capacity for, I believe, 25,500 or around the 25,000 range. So it's going to be quite an atmosphere out there, and I believe we've practically sold out both of our sections, right? And so we're going to have quite a crowd out there. I mean, I would estimate 500 fans, but maybe it's going to be a lot more than 500, but I'm estimating 500 of ours.
Yeah, and this is big not only for us, but it's also big for Orlando City as well. I mean, this is their first chance at winning any kind of title from what I hear. I mean, well, I mean, aside from USL Championship, because I believe they won the USL Championship before we joined in 2014, if my memory serves me correctly. And then Orlando had made the jump to MLS in 2015.
Yeah.
So since joining MLS, this is going to be the first time they're going to play for a big enough crown. In this case, the Open Cup. So we both teams have a lot to play for in this match.
Yeah, not to mention it'd be the first time I believe that they would even be in the CONCACAF Champions League too. So whoever wins in that final cup is going to be a first time for them in such a great tournament in our area. So yeah, it's quite the final, and just because of that USL pass that Orlando has too, and that's why I like to say that it's a final between two teams that are USL related, and that says a lot already about the league. But we had a team in our league that made the jump to MLS, and they're in the final now. So I want to say it's a USL final, kind of, in a sense.
Yeah, past and present. I mean, that talent gap between USL Championship and MLS is shrinking and shrinking.
Yeah, and they're getting scared day by day, and that's why they're changing dates on matches. But bring it on, MLS. It's on, right?
Garber is scared. Garber is scared.
Hashtag Sacramento versus MLS, right? Is what, or Sac v MLS should be what we might be trending here.
At this point, it might as well be Sacramento versus Florida. I mean, like I mentioned earlier, the fact that Inter Miami, Orlando City, and maybe possibly the USL office in Tampa are colluding. So you never know.
Ooh, that would be rough. Yeah. All right. Well, Jared, William, Scott just dropped, but Scott as well. Thank you guys for being on. And as always, thank you to everyone who tuned into the live show and who tunes in after the fact as well, and who also listens to our podcast. If you haven't yet, check out our most recent episode in which we talked about last Saturday's match. And we are going to be talking about tomorrow's match, as well as an interview that we had with Lee Neves, who is the president of Stockton Cargo, USLW's newest team that will be debuting next year in their second season. So we're really excited to cover their team, and also to be able to talk more about the team preparation and all that. And we talked a little bit about that as they just revealed their logo with Lee, and we had a great conversation with them. So be on the lookout on our podcast, because we're going to be dropping that one shortly. I'm still trying to figure out it might be after our review of tomorrow's game, because both shows are going to be right there tied, but it'll probably be posted on Friday morning. So just subscribe, be on the lookout for that episode, and share it with your friends, and go follow the Stockton Cargo social media pages as well. And just be excited. it's going to be awesome. And, we look forward to being at their first match next year and, just welcoming another team to the Valley, which is always really awesome. It just goes to show how much soccer is growing here in the Central Valley. Awesome. Well, everyone, have a great night. And we'll see you in a couple of days on our podcast show.
Yeah.
Bye. And since Sharon is not on, I'll go ahead and say it. Cue the music. You could say it too as well. You guys could say it, but let's go.
Goodbye.
Cue the music.